Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Enough chit-chat, let's get to the games. We last played the phenomenal release by Sega in the arcades, Sub-Rock 3D. Let's see what our next game is. We are still in the arcades, and this is Swimmer. Just Swimmer. Let's take a look at the artwork for Swimmer. This one's by Tehkan. If Tehkan doesn't sound familiar, they will eventually be called Tecmo. That's right, Tecmo. We've seen Tehkan, their first video game was Pleiades in April of 1981, and then we also have seen Red Clash and Route 16. This is their next video game. Man, we are jacked if we're going to be playing as that swimmer. And we also have vibes of Tarzan in the background with lots of cool stuff. Flip it over on the back, and they have lots of information for how the game's going to be played. There we are down at the bottom. As the swimmer, got to avoid all the crabs, obstacles, mini-bosses. We can dive under logs, collect fruit along the way, and they even give examples of screenshots over there on the left side. There's the arcade cabinet. You would have seen plenty of colorful artwork down to the control panel and arcade marquee. Look at the inside artwork. Another thing that's to touch on is we're going to be able to see the inside bezel that's around the CRT, but the extra stuff, look at the other artwork they've added inside. Nice touch. And then you can see the artwork flashed on the side. They are here to play in the arcades. Very, very slick. It does look like that. And they even have on the left side the instructions, inserting coins, what the fruit does. I mean, Pac-Man started it. We got to have fruit here to eat in the arcade. And we can do a 1 or 2 player game. However, it is an alternate affair. We have only one button to dive. Or the control panel gives us 2 buttons, whether you're left or right-handed to dive. Thanks for the lefties. There's the arcade marquee. And we also have an example of the screenshot. Here's the manual for Swimmer. This was distributed in the United States or North America by Century, but over in Japan, it was published by Tehkan. Let's see if the manual has anything to tell us about the game itself. Introduction has just about the electrical power, and then all the different parts of the cabinet. Make sure you got all the parts. Continuing the high-quality games by Century, this is Swimmer. Has all that episode, everything about the different skill levels, and the player controls Swimmer with an 8-way joystick and avoids obstacles using the dive button. The game Swimmer consists of 4 different rounds of play, which are as follows. Round 1, Swimmer avoids logs and turtles, collecting maximum fruits as he can. To complete the round, you have to dive under the giant crab. If during any time you lose the Swimmer, the round is restarted in the same level. And you have to collect all the fruits on the instrument panel. Then round 2 has gorilla crabs replacing the turtles as obstacles, and number of logs and crabs are increased. Round 3 is a fast-paced round including water spiders that move randomly in any direction and change their direction unexpectedly. The power feed enables the swimmer to stay alive until the giant crab appears. Again, the crab should be avoided. And then round 4 is the most difficult round of the game. Starts with a pond that has boulders in it. 3 piranhas challenge the swimmer. Power feed should be used to destroy the piranhas before their heads flash. And so this is, again, another arcade game wanting you to play longer to see if you can see the next round. Yes. So we got insert coins, pushing the start button, dive, pushing forward to depress at the same time, collect fruits for points, avoid logs, avoid crabs, water spiders, piranhas, and then you get a free swimmer every 10,000 points. The game's over when all the swimmers are used. We have cherries, peaches, apples, oranges, and then it goes in to describe the dip switches and more technical information that we won't go into here on the channel. For other versions, we just have different sets. Let's go to the arcade in Japan and play Swimmer by Tehkan, the beginning of July 1982. Now, Tehkan is a publisher that, or a developer that has gone on to be Tecmo later, and they're going to make other games. But this game right here, I don't know if the older games by Tehkan were or developed by the same people, but I know for sure that this one was developed by 2 people individually that are really, really special in Japan. And forgive me if I pronounce their names incorrectly. This is a gaijin speaking right here, but we have both Michishiro Ishizuka and Ryoichi Nishizawa that developed this game. They went on later to found a video game company called Westone and create Wonder Boy. That's right, so this is the beginning of their rise to video game fame. And what you can see here is all the artwork around the arcade cabinet. Again, very, very colorful. Lights it all up. Let's zoom it in so we can get a better view of the screen. Yeah, let's put a coin in. And let's go. This is the very first video game where we are getting to swim. It is a vertically oriented game, but I got 8-way joystick to move around, which is kind of nice. And we dive under logs. If you see over on the left or the right side instrument panel, you're supposed to collect all the fruit on the way. And being a fan of Wonder Boy a la Adventure Island, what's up with the fruit? I mean, it's starting right here. This is we're already eating and trying to get all the fruit. Looks like there's one of those. But you have to stay alive diving under all the logs. This is definitely not a Frogger clone. You're in the water, we're swimming in the water. Frogger couldn't handle the water. They did have a nice checkpoint feature where when I died, I picked over right when I left off. Now let's see, I don't need the cherries. The cherries just go for points. I need grapes, bananas. I got all the strawberries I need. Yeah, we don't need cherries. I need grapes, and then I'm guessing honeydew melons over there? But plays pretty well. Now we got to get past the crab if we can. Yes, we did it! We get a bonus because we collected all the strawberries. Now we're on to round 2. They're going to change it up a little bit. And we saw the magazine or the advertising flyer. We are jacked. Makes me want to go start swimming right now. Oh, nice. We got some invincibility. Oh, that's so cool. So we got a power up. We can swim and destroy the crabs. That's the way to do it. And then, yeah, we're back. It's only limited. Oh, and as soon as we popped up, we got snapped by the crab. But I mean, look at this. Very, very colorful. Very fun. A different idea for a video game. We got our power up again. Nice touch. I had to go back for that one. Now we have all these crabs that are moving around. We have another power up that we can pick up. And it is auto-scrolling. I'm not controlling that. All I control is the swimmer's movement and then diving. Oh, can we go under... Oh, the power-up does not help us with the logs. Okay. Yes, most games are clones. This channel is going to prove that if somebody out there doesn't believe it. As soon as you see a really good game, we're going to see tons... We've already seen tons and tons of clones, and it's not going to stop. Oh, but if you don't make it all the way under in the dive, you will die. Extra chance. Whoa, that's pretty cool. So if you have used all your credits up and you die, it has a random, like, slot machine that allows you to play again or continue where you left off. But it didn't let us do that. Oh, I'm supposed to put high score in? I messed that one up. I'll be ADA this time. Usually whenever you're doing high score, I'll always remember messing up putting in the initials at the end. But multiple rounds making you want to see something that's next. Fresh idea. Letting the swimmer. Yes, it's definitely Pac-Man for that. Alright, so there you go. There's a quick taste of Swimmer in the arcades. I say it's an excellent game. A very fun one for the time to play in 1982. Of all the arcade games we've ever played, it is fresh because of the swimmer motif, but moving around freely, able to collect fruits, and while the screen scrolls, I would say the bosses also are a nice improvement, considering all the other games that are out there. I'm going to go 3.5 stars of all the arcade games you could play. It's an above-average arcade game, but considering all the arcade games, I don't think I can go any higher than that. Anybody else with me in the chat? Yes, maybe it is. Good point. Yes, that's true. Jungle King did have swimming. They didn't have it from this angle. That's right. Yeah. All right. So after Swimmer, let's see what our next game is. We're on the Commodore VIC-20, and this is Hopper. Speaking of Frogger, here's another Frogger clone. This one just has one piece of artwork that I could find. I don't even know if it's an official artwork or not for Hopper. For other versions, we do have different ones coded by different people. Let's pop in and play Hopper. Developed by Thomas Kim, published by revved Software in the beginning of July 1982. Now this one, I'm a big fan of Frogger. This one moves and plays just like Frogger. You can see them down at the bottom of the screen. You have a little artifacts that are popping on the screen, but... Wait a second, I jumped on the log and died. Did they invert the... Wait a second. Does this mean we go on the white? We do... Wait, it's backwards. The logs, or the places that look like logs are not really logs. That's death. So it looks like we have a slight glitch in this one. It does look like a Game Boy Color shovelware. Here in 1982, everyone was clamoring for Frogger. It's the newest, coolest arcade game. After we saw all the Pac-Man clones, we're going to start seeing more and more Frogger clones. This is yet another one. Well, I say it is working correctly, but we've seen a better one on the VIC-20 than that. But honestly, there's a different version we have. Let's try a different one that's coded by JF Kane, still by revved Software, though. Let's give it a shot and see if it runs smoother or better than the other one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got different animation. You can see I'm down at the bottom now. I'm a green frog, not a blue one. But yeah, it's controlling very similar, but it has what appears to be a maze in the middle. And then do the logs work? Okay, they do. So at least we got real logs we can hop across. Oh, and if you die, you fall all the way to the bottom. If this was me at this time, who enjoys playing Frogger a lot in the arcades, I would be perfectly happy with a game like this, even though it's pretty jank, considering the other games you could play on a home computer, because it's Frogger. Quickly, give me a log, quick. Oh my gosh, that was close. Do you take the risk? Nice, let's finish this. Got it. And we're at the top, so there you go, Hopper. They're going to start running out of different pseudonyms they can use instead of Frogger. But this is Hopper. Of all the games you could play on a home computer, I would say Hopper is around average. It's cool that you play Frogger, but it's really not pushing anything further than what you would expect for systems. So I'm going to say 3 stars of all the games you could play on a home computer. That's a good point. This would be a good one to translate to a Game & Watch. We haven't seen any handhelds yet. There is a Frogger handheld by Coleco, and we will be checking that one out shortly at some point in 1982, but not yet. So far, we got to deal with this shovelware. All right, so after Hopper, let's see what's next. Next is the latest issue of Electronic Games. Let's check it out. So this is the July issue of Electronic Games, and I'm already a big fan of this magazine. This includes you being able to look at everything in the arcade, everything available on home consoles, everything on handhelds. It's all right here in one package. It's pretty fun. And you can see they're already gracing the cover with Tron. I think we've seen 3 or 4 magazines with Tron. Tron is everywhere. It is the video game movie. It is so big. And we're also going to go over the history of coin-op arcades. So nice. Man, it's so much fun. All right, let's open this up. We're next greeted by an ad by Atari. We've seen it before. To be continued. Sadly, it says, oh, it's the Have You Played Atari Today commercial, but we know what's going to happen with Atari. It may not be continued for very long. All right, so we're going to breeze by our table of contents over on the left side, but here on the right we have an ad by Lockjaw, which is another Pac-Man variant, a motif of it, I guess. But still a good time. One of the better ones by Apollo, yeah, third-party software. You can see right there with some other games they have. Racquetball, Skeet Shoot, Lost Luggage, really nice. Man, this magazine is so cool. I would have been so excited to get this in 1982. Oh, when it came out, yes. All right, so next is Switch On. The article's about arcading. Is it a fad or a hobby? I feel like they should have this article in 1983 because people are going to question that later. Are video games a fad or a hobby? And then they have down here the Atari 2600. I'm starting to see that it's really not the other consoles that were messing it up. It really was Atari. The majority of the worst shovelware was Atari, and because so many people had the Atari VCS, that would be the reason we had the crash in North America. There's just too many people out there that had Atari and too much junk on the Atari. I can't fault Intellivision though. There's a lot of good stuff on that one. And then over here we got an ad for Atari home computers. We got the 400 and 800 down there with some educational software, because I guess that's what this kid's doing right here. Yeah, he's doing music composer instead of playing baseball. No, I don't think so. And then next to the Electronic Games Hotline, this is all the newest, coolest stuff. Atari stages the Pac-Nick, where the Pac-Man cartridge, the famous one, the one we've already seen, culminating with Pac-Man Day on April 3rd. They say that they're going to have Pac-Man tablecloths, Pac-Man paperweights, Pac-Man's everywhere. There's Pac-Man merchandise all over the place right now. And the new song, Leader of the Pack. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. And down here is the Atari report. This is Sunnyvale Company announced an intriguing change in its previously announced schedule of the VCS-compatible cartridges. And they have soon to be replaced the Raiders of the Lost Ark game. So we'll be seeing that one soon too. Wait, where was the Purina game? Did I miss it? Was that the one? No, we're going to see. Yeah, we will be seeing that one later, though. Yes. That's right. I know that it's going to come up. I don't know if the magazines are going to showcase the Purina game. All right, so we got some other releases that are going to be out on the Atari home computer, like Berserk, Star Raiders we're already seeing, and Defender. And then they have Yar's Revenge, which I don't think that was available on the Atari home computer, but it was going to be. It is on the VCS. And then over here is the coin operas going for the gold. There's a $100,000 in prizes nationwide tournament. The competition is going to be among 7 age categories. Gaming aces will be in competitors. No way. Where is this? Grand champion. It looks like Colorado Springs, Colorado in December of 1982. The grand champion will receive a 1923 Ford T Street Rod replica valued at $18,000, and the next 36 finishers will win. Oh my gosh, what a cool competition. That's amazing. And then up here on the top right is the strategy guide for a book you could buy by Electronic Games. The Player's Strategy Guide to Atari VCS Home Video Games. Several months of exhaustive research. Paperback focuses on 25 most popular VCS-compatible cartridges. It just makes me think of these games are going to be... this stuff's all going to be gone after the crash. Yes. And thanks for doubling up. I see you in the chat. Appreciate it. All right, we got Pac-Man biting Casey Munchkin. They're talking about the lawsuit. Brought the company into a legal struggle with the ace rival North American Philips because Casey Munchkin looks too much like Pac-Man, and Atari's got the rights for that. We've already seen Casey Munchkin and Pac-Man, and the Odyssey appeal decision won the temporary stay, allowed to keep it shipping the popular Gobble game. Electronic Games goes to press. There's been another important development, and the result is that Munchkin, which they changed the name to, and they changed a few things up. So it's not the original Casey Munchkin. Well, we have seen Munchkin that was released on the Philips Video Pack, but we will see the release of the next Munchkin where they change a few things up to make it look not too bad. Yes, several months of exhaustive research. That's right, Manly. And then over here is also saying that in another case that Atari did against Online Systems, or Sierra Online, they made Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker looked a lot like Pac-Man as well. But they agreed, it says the negotiation license agreement that allows them to continue with much praise, maze craze there. And then over here is insert tips. Arcaders have been frustrated for years. And they have a reference for Bosconian, which is in the arcade, but just giving you help if you want arcade help. Nice touch. All right, let's go to the next one. So flip it on still more in the hotline. We have the bi-weekly newsletter the Electronic Games is going to start doing. Don't familiar with that one. We'll stick with the main magazine. And then over here we have Asteroids keeping the top spot on the charts. They have all of these top... Look at these games that they have over here. Kaboom! Stampede! Major League Baseball! Astro Smash! This magazine, when they talk about console games, they're focusing mostly on the Atari, Intellivision, and the Odyssey 2. They have a little dabble of the Valley Astrocade, or Astro Tech or whatever it's called at the time, because they were bought out by someone else. And then we have Pac-Man stickers, very nice. There it is, the Astro update for everyone that had the Astrovision, previously known as the Bally Astrocade. They have Munchie, which Munchie, I can't find that. I don't know what that is. Does Munchie exist? It is not a game that's anywhere else. Then they have the Wizard, which is a version of Wizard of War that we will be seeing soon. Solar Conqueror we'll see soon. Cosmic Raiders, Quest for the Orb. Pirate Chase, we won't see Coloring Book, that's for sure. And then over here is Mattel. On the Mattel and Television, we have, I believe that's Night Stalker at the top. Yeah, there we go. And they're going to bring Night Stalker using their M Network label to the Atari. Yes. And Frogbog. So we'll see all that. Nice job, Mattel. All right, let's go to the next page. Here is the picked, the top hits right now in July of 1982. So video game cartridges are anything that's a home console. Number one still stacks with Asteroids on Atari, then Missile Command. Adventure, man, I love Adventure. I think that should be higher up. But Missile Command's excellent. Kaboom, then Astro Smash on the Intellivision. Stampede for the Atari. Video Pinball, which Video Pinball is a really good one. Really fun to play. Oh yeah, Wizards of War when we get that, that's a lot of fun. Then Major League Baseball and Galactic Invasion. And they call it the Astro Pro Arcade by Astrovision. All right. I don't remember it ever called that before. Then we have for computers, they say Star Raiders is still number one on the Atari home computer. Then Jawbreaker by Online Systems. Really, really popular. Then Empire of the Overmind. I don't understand why that one is up there. We played way better adventure games than Empire of the Overmind. Missile Command, though, definitely worth a spot. Castle Wolfenstein should be higher up there, but it's the first time on the list. And then we go into Coin Op. This is everything on the arcade. Pac-Man is number one still. Then Tempest, Defender, Centipede, Battlezone, Galaxian, Berserk, Donkey Kong. Why is Donkey Kong so low? Then Gorf and Scramble. And you can also write in to get those ratings in now. And then we also have the National Arcade Scoreboard, and this is where all the video games all over the world, you'll be able to list and rank yourself. And it's interesting because now we do that online. You post your score and you realize that you suck and everybody else is better than you. And they're doing it here. You put in your score for UFO, Asteroids on the Atari, Grand Prix by Activision, Galactic Invasion, or USAC Auto Racing, and Space Chase. Oh, Warlords with 4 people is so much fun. Yes. And we go on to the Inside Gaming. They talked to Alan Miller. There he is, wearing his suit without the tie. And I think they go through all of his games here. We got Surround that he did on the Atari, Hangman, Concentration, Hunt and Score, not really the best ones. But then we get to basketball, and we flip it over in the back. I think he's holding two of his good ones, Ice Hockey and Checkers. There they are. So we got tennis that he also did, Atari basketball, then skiing. Look at that. Yeah, Alan Miller. Ice hockey is fantastic. That's a lot of fun, proving that the Atari can do really good one-on-one competitive games. And then here's the book they were talking about, The Player Strategy Guide to Atari VCS Home Games. Buy it now if you really want to get the high score. Next section is the question and answer section. How many music and voices were put into video games like Pac-Man? How do you put sound or music into it? Yes, why is Donkey Kong so low? That's blasphemous. It should be way up there. We got boxing here from the Intellivision in the background. And just a few questions that people ask with answers. They talk here about the Sears deal to have the like someone saying, what is the Sears system? And it's essentially the same thing. It's just an Atari. And they have a professional computer programmer who's also a big gamer. I'm happy with my job. I'd love to do some freelance programming. I've already worked on the Atari 800. Oh. Hey, you should check out the Atari Program Exchange. See, they're already plugging that one. I say the Atari Program Exchange is amazing. It has been so helpful, and we've seen some great games. We're still going to see great games. That's right. I have no hope for the tip books. Where you're going to find the best tips to play video games, or which ones are the best video games, is right here on Chronologically Gaming. Imagine if this show was in 1982. This would be the best source. And we got Time Magazine has a picture of Pac-Man. Is this a new game? You don't know what Pac-Man is? And then down here, yeah, there it is, the Bally Videocade is now what it's called. It went through 3 owners during its lifetime, at least that I know of. And we flip to the next one, continuing our Q&A. Pac-Man has the rights to, or Atari has the rights to Pac-Man and Defender? Yes, they do. Who invented Pac-Man? Did one man do it? Ooh, do they give him credit? The famous gobbler was invented in Japan by a company called Namco. Do they give it They don't. They don't tell you who the name of the developer is of Pac-Man. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I can't believe they didn't give it to him. And then we also have an ad over here for Soren's Electronics. Moving our way to the right side, here is the Reader's Replay. More writing into the magazine. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Bally system. We had some good releases on it. I would consider the Bally Astrocade better than the Emerson Arcadia. If you're going to consider we're not doing the major ones. Yes, it would be on UHF, and I'd be proud of it. All right, we got moving on to this side. This is the difference between Laser Command and a Missile Command, or Laser Blast and Missile Command. Where does the Astro Arcade stand? Is it a video game system or a computer system? I'm sure lots of people ask that question. Like the Channel F, or even the Atari. Originally was called the VCS, which has computer in it. Is it a computer, or is it a home computer system, or an arcade system? What is it? All right, let's flip on to the next page. The Casio MT40. Very nice. And 10 years of electronic games already. I don't think it's been 10th anniversary. Oh, because they'd been doing newsletters before the official one. I see. That's right. And then over here on the right side, we got some prices for the CX2600 Mattel and Television. Look at the price range between the 3 big ones. Atari is still holding on, but the Odyssey went even cheaper than the Atari. That's a good move, Magnavox. And then we have some of the big developers, Activision, iMagic, Mattel, over on the side. I don't see Apollo or the other third-party ones, or Parker Brothers is brand new. Oh, I see. Yeah, Pong has been 10 years. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, let's flip on to the next page. It's the Test Lab. This is fascinating. This is about, I got lots of consoles. How do I switch from television to television if I got multiple consoles at my house? So this is the solution in 1982. They give you an example of the Zenith back system where you can switch between different ones. Majority of these systems were using RF modulator. You know, the one where you had to switch between channel 2 and 3. But if you got multiple ones, look, this seems so archaic, but really cool to have then, because you'd be able to go back and forth between the different consoles if you had all of those. Some rich bastard out there's got too many consoles. All right, let's flip on to the next page. Finishing up the Test Lab, you can see an example diagram here of what it's like to use their device plugged into the television, and then you have all the different game systems with your VCR, of course. That's right. I don't know what you're speaking of. What is this what's HDMI? And here we got another ad, supercharging your Atari. We've seen this one before in the magazines. Gotta make $1. All right, here we go. The history of arcades. They go way, way back, way further back than I thought they would, because it's 1982. The arcades have been around since 1971. That's where we first started playing Space War and Galaxy game. And so they break down the beginnings of the late 1800s is when they start with the history of arcades. What's really fascinating, though, is they are digging up video games in a landfill, and this is what's going to happen later. In 1983, they're going to be burying things in a landfill. Oh, you don't have any consoles? We got to get you some. Or you just deal with the PC master race. All right, so at the turn of the century, they start breaking down the beginning of an earlier game called a Bagatelle, which is similar to pool, because billiards was around before then. And they essentially took pool, made it small, tilted on its side. And also, they don't talk about pachinko. That's another one that was before we got the so-called pinball cabinets. Yes, right? It looks like they are. Whatever became of the penny arcade? And here we go. This is the old school of the old school. 1932. Look at that. Gottlieb. They've been around for a long, long time. And here's some of the oldest systems. Man, that's amazing. That you could ever see. And then right here, yeah, look at that. The oldest systems, before it was even pinball, it was just the something dropped from the top and came down. And Dally, of course, has been around for a long time. Now they realize we got to get on the video game craze. All right, let's move on. Next page is the strategy session. Crunch Quest and Crash Like an Expert. How do we get better at KC Munchkin? The Gobble game, obviously inspired by Namco's Pac-Man, is right here. What are the tips and tricks to get better at KC Munchkin? I think the manual had tips and tricks. So if you bought it, you'd be all right. 1947. Gosh, yeah, that's so back there. Whenever I was first doing the channel, I thought about how far back I wanted to go. Originally, I was going to start in 1977 because we had the release of Atari VCS. But then when I realized I could do games earlier than that, I went back further and further until I realized I could do simulations of the Magnavox Odyssey. And because MAME allowed you to emulate the 1971 game on the arcade, I was like, okay, I'll start in 1971. But I did think of doing even older than that because you have mainframe games that go back even before that. If you're familiar with Moby Games, the database, they go way back to the 40s and 50s showing games. We didn't go that far back. I got to put a limit somewhere. So after you know how to play KC Munchkin, then we want to know how to play Adventure as the gallant knight who must return the enchanted chalice to the Gold Castle. Adventure has 3 difficulty levels. Look at this, tips and tricks on how to play. That's so cool. We already got the Easter egg. Do they show you that? Let's see. Once you discovered the key, go to the castle. Best way to avoid the bat. After you locate the sword, slay the dragon. Okay, in every game variation. Yeah, so they're just breaking down how to play the game. They show you how to use the items too, but still, nice touch. I like it. And then we also have, Match Racer. Gabelli software. This is one we've seen on, Atari home computers. Some tips and tricks for that one too. Nice. Match Racer was okay, but we had played some other racing games that were better. Sorry, Nasir Gabelli. Wait, that was Gabelli software, not Nasir. And then over here we have an ad for Arcade XS. Let's flip on. Oh, here we go from the cover. The Coming of Tron. It is so big. All the gamers were flocking to the movies to check it out. It had one of the coolest special effects you could see. And they're giving you a preview of the movie. So even though we're in a magazine, they're giving us a preview of what it's like. Okay. Very nice. And then we also have images from the movie too. Man, this was so big. Look at this. All of the special effects. And then I even know that the movie Tron, they were using some of the sound effects from the Atari home computer, but not like the main sound effects. It was like background sound effects. At least it said in one of the last issues. Oh, yes. 80 Micro is another one. We're not going to be showcasing the 80 Micro magazine, and there's lots of magazines out there that we're not showcasing, but we do see ads whenever we come to the game. If I can find it in the magazine, I'll show it when we play the game. Yes. Oh, yeah. The grid style or the neon look of it, it's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, they're really hitting up on Tron. Oh, there we go. Got a preview. We'll be seeing discs of Tron soon. When we played the arcade game, they originally were going to program the discs section in, but left it out. So it's going to be another arcade game later, just called Discs of Tron. All right, now the coin op side. What's happening in the arcade world? Oh, yes. Top 5 of all time? Yeah, I'm with you on that. Oh, yes. Trying to download, yeah. At this time, downloading. Oh, it must have taken forever. Gosh, we're so spoiled nowadays, and we're spoiled here on Chronologically Gaming. You'll get a kick out of Kick. Kick is that one with the clown moving left and right. We've already seen that one in the arcades. Really high quality as far as resolution goes. And then they show that Pac-Man comes up in Kick as a cameo. And that may have been one of the first times there was a cameo in another video game. Pac-Man just shows up in Kick. And then we also have Tempest, which is another really, really big one. Asteroids, Deluxe Asteroids, Battlezone still really prevalent. There it is. Kickman, or Kick. Yeah, Space Duel is the other one, color version of Asteroids. We've already seen that one too. Really, really fun. It's essentially the trilogy or the next one after Deluxe Asteroids of it. Oh, that's fascinating. And then here's the ad for Miss Pac-Man, which we've also seen. Loving the arcade cabinet there. All right, let's go to the next page. We got more on Space Duel. It's colorful vector-based graphics for asteroids. It's like the trilogy, complete for asteroids. And then Mousetrap. I believe we played. Yes, we played Mousetrap whenever John D'Elia was on the show from RetroWare TV, and that was a lot of fun. We have, yeah, there it is. There's the Mousetrap playfield down there. Really cool idea. Still taking from the Pac-Man idea. But, Zaxxon. This is it. Zaxxon, I would say, is one of the biggest releases of this year. This felt like I was playing a game out of this world compared to any of the other arcade games. The first popular one, yeah, from the arcades. Yeah, I would say so, Battlezone was. Zaxxon here, we played this at the beginning of 1982, and it felt play control and looked and sounded just out of this world. So good. And we're finally seeing it here. Whenever we play a game first in the arcade, I'm going to play where it's originated from. So we played the Japanese release of Zaxxon, and then it looks like we finally got it in North America by the summer, which is kind of cool. And then over here, what is this? Barracuda, a Pac-Man Canadian clone. I don't think we've seen that one yet. But if it's available here, maybe I'll bump it up. I think I had it listed as I don't know when it comes out in 1982. All right, let's flip on to the next one. This magazine's so cool. It goes through even the arcade games that are out there. You got some favorite video game t-shirts. Oh, that's some great swag to pick up. And then over here is continued with Barracuda again. Yeah, I think I stated this, it's sometime in 1982, but I'll move it up. Yeah, there it is, Barracuda. We'll leave the lawsuits to others because they're obviously ripping on Pac-Man. It plays a lot like it. And then we have Alpine Ski, another one. Very excellent for the arcade. We got a giant full-page ad for Star Strike on the Intellivision. Great game. We've seen this one before, and I've talked about this one in the past. Let's move on to the next page. Subscribing to Electronic Games. We got everything you want every month. Order now, and I would if I picked this up in a magazine rack. Yeah, I wonder if it was based on the song Heart, right? Did Barracuda? And then we have an ad for the next section is the summer sports of video games. So let's see what we got for sports games. What's happening in the world of sports video games? We have golf, Magnavox Odyssey's golf, Atari's golf, Mattel PGA golf. Oh, so they're pretty much comparing the golf on the three different systems. Now, golf at this stage is a little rough. We did play recently Championship Golf, which was by Online Systems for the Atari home computer. Different world a little bit than these console games. But of these three on the console games, the Mattel PGA Golf for Intellivision is the most technical. It's the hardest one to get into, but the easiest one to get in and play is Atari's golf. But if I was going to play a golf game, I would pick miniature golf. It's easier to pick up and play than these are. But still fun for the time. You can see there's the shot of PGA golf. Yeah, and then we got tennis next. The Davis Cup. Fresh perspective on Activision's golf game, because that one is different than the other one for Atari too. And then we also have, wait a second, that's not real sports. Video Olympics. Is that what it says? Yeah, Video Olympics is the Pong-style tennis game. That would be the equivalent of going back in the 70s and saying you're going to play a sports video game. Then you're playing the Pong games. But they have a shout out for Tornado Baseball. Nice touch. That's an old school one. All right, let's flip on to the next page. Motorsports test. What do we got here? Smell of Grease Pit, Roar of the Crowds. Mattel USA, the auto racing game for Mattel. That one's very, very well done. And then Atari's Indy 500 is, when you consider the racing games for home consoles, we just had the release of Grand Prix or Grand Prix. I think it was Grand Prix because they couldn't use Grand by Activision. And that one's a well-done one, but I prefer the top-down, kind of zoomed-out view where you can see the car driving around, and that would be Mattel. I'd give the nod on that one. Yeah, it was a trench run knockoff, but it was a good game. Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, then we also have Dragster. There it is, Grand Prix. Yeah, Speedway. Is that the one in the Valley? Oh, no, that's the one on the Atari. Okay. And then we have Night Driver also there. That's one of the first ones we saw. And then it says it's coming soon on Coleco will be Turbo, the home version of the Sega game. One of the first games we ever saw in the arcades with sprite scaling. Oh, yes, it is true. Right now, golf and racing games aren't as good as they will be later. All right, so we move on to the next one. This is team sports games, all right? So we got the most popular sport, which is baseball, Pong-styled, as in Video Olympics, and then, world's most popular is soccer. There's Nazzle Soccer, which is on the Mattel, and then we also have Pele Soccer, which is a reskin of another game that already came out earlier on the Atari VCS. But then we also have Volleyball, Atari's Volleyball, and Magnavox Odyssey's Volleyball. This one's kind of interesting. This screenshot here for the Magnavox Odyssey one, it plays kind of like foosball volleyball because you're controlling multiple characters all at the same time, so it can get a little difficult. Oh man, they did love their sprite scaling, and I'm glad they did. All right, flip it on to the next page. Join the electronic boys of summer. We have baseball. Here's where it is. Magnavox Odyssey's baseball, Home Run by Atari, and then we have Tornado Baseball on the Astrocade, Major League Baseball by Mattel. That one I would say kind of like I'm with George Plimpton on that. The one that's on the Intellivision is really the one to go for. Doesn't this magazine feel like it should be part of Chronologically Gaming because they're comparing all the different things that are at the time or showcasing everything that was available? I love it. And then over here we have Games Library, which is books if you want to buy some video game books, and they've already talked about these, how to win at video games and how to master video games. I wouldn't have wasted as much time on them. If you had bought the game and you got the paperwork, you would have had the manual, and they already have lots of good stuff in there. I don't know why you'd need that unless you're going to that competition to win a lot of money. Then you would have bought the game, bought the book. All right, let's flip on to the next one. They usually do this, and I kind of like how they do this. They're showcasing an arcade somewhere in America so we can get some screenshots of a really cool arcade game. This is Westworld, which is located in Westwood Village, California. So check out this one. There's it from the outside. It looks just like a strip mall, so it doesn't look too impressive. But you go inside, they show off some of the cabinets. Like there we got Tempest. There's Frogger, of course. There's Scramble. They're showing all the big ones. Pac-Man. And then in the background, we got a few other ones. And Tempest. But look at all the arcade cabinets side by side. So much fun. They're going to keep going strong, even when there's faulty problems in the console world. All right, let's flip on to the next one. More about the games library. You can get a whole book on mastering Pac-Man. We now know so many secrets for Pac-Man. I wonder if it has anything in there that's be worth it to get. And then the complete guide to electronic games. To begin with, this really isn't a complete guide, that is. It's as complete as it can get, though. And then some more ads for National Video Game Players Association. Become an official member. Nice. All right, now is the adventure world. So this magazine hits on what I guess other magazines sometimes touch on. We have a computer gaming world, which is the computer side, and most of the time they split it apart, but not here. This magazine puts all the computer games together too. So this is the adventure games. What's the big adventure games out there? Are you free being? Are you a free being or just a number? This is all about The Prisoner. We've just played The Prisoner 2, and this one's for the first game, both based on the TV show. Pretty good game for the time. I wouldn't have showcased on this one. We just saw, I'd say, one of the bigger adventure games of the year, which was The Sands of Egypt. That was the big adventure game, but got some nice artwork here for The Prisoner. That's true. There's a big gap between the quality of video games in the arcade and what you could play at home. There's even a bigger gap between handhelds. All right, let's flip on to new products. No way, video game furniture? Oh, where is it? I don't see it. Oh, there we go. We got the whole setup. Man, it looks like my television whenever I was like 4 or 5. And then over here we got the board game Pac-Man. I have never played the board game Pac-Man. I've seen Board James on Cinemassacre play Pac-Man. Didn't look like an extremely fun time. I'd rather play the video game. And then we also have exciting space games on your watch. That's right, game time. Here on Chronologically Gaming, that's all we'll see for this wristwatch of game time. That's right. Most of the Golden Age arcade games had board games, right? Did Frogger have a board game? I don't remember. I don't think I've ever seen that one. All right, let's flip on to the next page as we go through the July issue of Electronic Games. Now is the time to do the mini arcade. We have Coleco Total Control with their overlays. And this one is essentially playing on the Milton Bradley Microvision handhelds. So what you see here is all we're going to be showing or showcasing for this type of handheld, because there's no way to play this or do anything as far as emulation-wise. This is in a league of its own. It's kind of like the Intex Select-A-Game. This just now, I'm talking within the last few months, was able to be emulated on MAME, but even still, it's a testament for how difficult it is to get these games home to be played or emulated. Because the Intex Select-A-Game was essentially the second handheld console that you could take a cartridge out and pop in after the Milton Bradley Microvision. And most of these games, I can't find a lot of information on. Only in this magazine. All right, let's flip on to the next one. Oh, here's what's coming up. There it is, our first peek at the Intex Adventure Vision, what they did after the Select-A-Game, as far as making a game where you could take the cartridge out. There it is in the middle. That's the little cartridge right above the joystick that you'd pop in. But we'll be seeing this one that's coming up, I believe in October is whenever it was released. They're previewing it. And what in the world joined Xandor's Empire? I have no idea what that is. Yeah, Coleco's Total Control 4 has, I think it's only 4 different systems that you can switch out the overlay. Yeah, that's true. They had the football one. They had the head-to-head, and we've already seen that one on the show. The big ones by Coleco are those stand-up arcade cabinets. Those are the ones that are the most expensive and the ones that everyone thinks of when they think of the Coleco handhelds. All right, let's flip on to the next page. Oh, this is pretty cool. Video games go king's size. How in 1982 you can projection television your video games and make them massive. Oh yeah, we will be seeing the Adventure Vision. It's an interesting idea for a handheld, or some people might even call it a console. So here we go. This is taking your video games and projecting them. Look at this. Playing basketball on a 120-inch screen. And there's the Kloss 78-inch screen. Such a cool idea. All right, flip it on to the next page. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. The Sony KP5000. Wow. What in the world? Can you believe doing that? Having your games that large? So cool. This guy just wants to show off. Yeah, I got a big screen. Come and play video games here. Projecting your video game safely also is an important point. Elvis did, huh? Nice. Yeah, make those pixels even bigger. I enjoy that too. I only pull mine out for a few times, but I have the projector. That's really fun to play like horror games. Something really scary, turn all the lights out. All right, let's flip on to the next page. We're continuing the mini arcade gallery. There's Space Invaders, making it a smaller one. It looks like Cabaret Cabinet. Nice. And then there it is, Pac-Man again. Video Wizard's Handbook. And then over here is the Programmable Parade. And this is more our home console games. They have Space Fortress, which is essentially Space Zap for the Bally Astrocade, or Astrovision. I'm probably going to keep slipping that up because they switched owners so much. Oh, that's awesome. You ran it on Pong? I love it. Yeah, very cool. All right, let's flip on to the next one. What else they have for programming? Yeah, there it is, Space Fortress. It's essentially Space Zap that you could play at home. And then Demon Attack. And then here we go, Trick Shot. We're going to be seeing this one soon on the Atari VCS. This is like the what's out now that you could play. It's Pool. And then Boxing on your Mattel and Television. We've already seen that one. Haunted House on the Atari VCS too. That one is a cool game. If you're expecting something like Adventure, it really doesn't play the same. Adventure seems more larger, expansive. Haunted House does give you a goal, but it doesn't seem to have as much meat on the bone as Adventure does. All right, flip it over to the next page. Yeah, there you go. Haunted House. Got to sell on the spooky factor. It is one of the very first video games that we've ever played that had the gall to be like, we're going to play a scary game or sell it as a scary game. And over here is the coin-op classroom, like helping you out if you're terrible at Tempest. How to get better at Tempest. Man, Tempest is so much fun. The color vector graphics. Another, it's one of those arcade games that when we come across them on the channel, I want them to be at every arcade. When I go to arcade, there's certain games you expect to be there. And I'm not talking new arcade games, but Tempest is one of those games. It has to be at an arcade. All right, let's flip it on to the next page. Yes, the Paul Rudd commercial. Yeah, we'll be seeing that in several years whenever we get that far. There it is. Projection or protection, sorry, for your valuable video games. Nice. And then they break down. Look at this. All this info on Tempest. So cool. Okay, now we're going into the computer world. Computer Playland with Mouse Attack. Now, Mouse Attack we've seen on 2 different home computers thus far. Sierra Online did this one. And it's essentially, they say it's a case of taking Frisky Tom and updating it or changing it. I still say it's closer to Pac-Man. Frisky Tom had the mechanic with the water that you don't really have to play in. It was more of a, Mouse Attack is essentially just the maze game. Oh yeah. I knew people that were way better at Tempest than I was. But it's still a blast to play. Yeah, there we go. There's a cover of a Mouse Attack and Crossfire. It's a Targ variant. A fun one to play. And it's great seeing Sierra Online here in the magazine showing off their popularity. And then this one's a less obscure one. This is hockey. We've already seen this one as well, too. It's a 4-player simultaneous hockey game. A great one. Check it out. You can see the links down below for when we played hockey. I didn't have 4 people to play with, but I wish I did. And then moving over to this side, we have also Sammy the Sea Serpent, which is an educational game, which means we didn't play that one. Moving on to the next page. There it is. There's Sammy the Sea Serpent. We didn't see that, but we did play David's Midnight Magic. Pinball is done very well there. Great games that we've seen in the past. And then we have another ad by Video, which this magazine started before it was Electronic Games. It started as Video, so they're still going to advertise for it. It's the precursor of what came before. Now we move on to the standalone scene. We try to play as many video games that are handhelds that we can here on the channel, but there's so many out there and so many that we're going to miss. I'm just grabbing as many as I can or have the ability to play. But I know we're going to miss some. Here in the magazine, they pick up on a few others. We already talked about this in the last Electronic Games. This is issue 5. Issue 4 said they had games that they were talking about that I couldn't find anywhere online, like they didn't exist. So here's another one, Juggler. Wind Up, Accelerator, Pounce, and then this one, Quiz Whiz Challenger, and there it is by Coleco. I am not familiar with this one, if it is just a quiz game. Quiz is another genre that we're not going to play too many games on. We're going to get to other ones. Oh my gosh, really? Oh yeah, Atari, yeah, that's right. All right, flip it on to the next one with handhelds. We have also World Championship Baseball. And I believe that is, yeah, there it is. Down there at the bottom. Wow. That is massive handheld. And then they end with the reader poll, which is essentially how good is the magazine? Or how are we doing on Electronic Games? And then coming next, we're going to be going over arcade myths, player's new guide to coin ops, games that are on disc. That's right, video disc players, and then video pinball. And then this is an ad for an upcoming game called The Great Wall Street Fortune Hunt. It's bad. It's so bad. It started with the game Quest for the Rings. They made this really big Odyssey video game, and then did Conquest of the World, and then they end with this one. It's just not good. Not a good idea. Ending with Star Master, which we just played. It feels like we're right on top of everything. as far as the games that are out now. So here on Chronologically Gaming, when I read the magazine and I can pinpoint, yep, we played this one, yep, we've been on the ball. Every now and then, though, we get a game that just eludes me, and I'm like, wait, what is this game? I can't believe it. So it's fun reading the magazine. All right, so there you go, the 5th issue of Electronic Games Magazine, July 1982. It's time to put our video game playing and reading on pause. Tune in next episode for Lupin coming home for the first time, and Namco is going to fight back against Sega and the arcades with one of the best video games of the year. That's it for today, and like I always say, Sega, Namco, gentlemen, start your engines. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.